Hello, and welcome to 5 for Friday for this Friday, April 21st, 2023. Here at 5 for Friday, I take it as my mission to curate the massive volumes of news stories that you don't have time to read, and to share a bite-sized grouping of 5 stories in about 5 minutes. Let me do the hard work, sifting through and reading the news, so that I can share some topics that could impact you and your small business. Today, we look at burnout and self-care, EVs and AI, lessons from big business fails, and breadwinner equity. Ready to get started? Let's get going. We'll start with topic number 1. If you are feeling overwhelmed, then I have good news for you. You're not alone. Several recent news stories have emphasized that working parents and Gen Z workers alike are feeling burnt out. That might be because we're all working more hours on the weekend, or because we just don't feel mentored or appreciated at work. So show your Gen Z workers some love. How to address the overwhelm? Just say no when you can. Work on positive habits like setting time for exercise. And get outside, which makes everyone happier. Truly, research said it, so it has to be true. Moving on to story number 2. Are you ready for an EV future? With the federal government pushing pollution rules, expect to see about 2/3 of all cars sold to be EVs in less than 10 years. Same goes for heavy-duty trucks, which is why Walmart and an Italian energy firm are going crazy with the number of new EV charging stations across the country. Will that wreak havoc on the world of convenience store gas stations? That depends on how well they are paying attention and if they can handle this huge transition. I hope you're paying attention because this giant shift will have ripple effects all over the country. How might it affect your business? I hope you know the answer to that question. And with that, let's move on to story number 3. Another disruptive market we talk about a lot here at 5 for Friday, AI and chatbots. What's going on lately? Well, Amazon is entering this world, but focused on corporate customers who want to incorporate AI with Amazon's cloud computing platform, rather than competing with Google and Microsoft on the consumer search side. AI is slowly taking over jobs, including food photographer, as a new app can generate a photo of a menu item with just a description, no photography needed. And right now, humans are doing a better job than AI at closing sales, but that is also expected to change very soon. Maybe you agree with the 2/3 of recent college grads who believe AI will replace them at work. Good thing the big tech firms are taking their time developing such life-changing software to avoid any serious ethical concerns. Ha, I'm kidding. They are on a race to be the dominant player in this market, choosing speed over caution. Color me shocked. Keep in mind that the speed part here, if you haven't already played around with ChatGPT, I suggest you schedule a block of time to try it out and explore this new technology a bit more so you can see how it could be used to help your business rather than hurt it, since it's moving fast. All right, moving on to story number 4, lessons from big business, mainly on what not to do. The only positive big business story I read recently was the CEO of Uber went all undercover CEO and spent a couple weeks as an Uber driver. He is now more sympathetic to the concerns of the drivers, imagine that, and is working to address some of their key issues. And in the what not to do, as if you needed this tip, big Wall Street firms are spending $25,000 a candidate for consultants to put the poor aspiring employees through a rigorous 5-hour interview, including psychological screening, to determine their ability to do a good job. I know they say hire slow and fire fast, but that is just a bit much. Speaking of firing, big firms are doing an excellent job demonstrating bad ways to lay people off, like by email, or making them work from home on the day they fire you, or laying off multiple times in a time period so no one knows if it's coming for them. Way to motivate those remaining employees. Finally, some Ernst & Young drama, a follow-up to a past 5 for Friday story about their plans to divide auditing and consulting departments to avoid conflicts of interest. The plans are not going too well. Too many greedy partners is my personal assessment. More in the newsletter. And let's move on to our final story, story number 5, women in business. It turns out that so many men are getting burnt out as CEO that it's offering more opportunities for women. Over 30% of new CEOs were women in the first 2 months of 2023. What a great start. But we've got a ways to go since men hold nearly 90% of private company board seats. Hopefully the shift in breadwinners will start to move the needle. A recent study shows that nearly 1/3 of marriages today have no primary breadwinner. Both spouses earn a similar amount. But women spend more time on caregiving and housework, and men spend more time on leisure activities. So we're not quite there yet. It is nice to see some positive trends though. So, and on that note, that's it for today. So thank you for joining me for this week's 5 for Friday. If you're curious about the newsletter, which always has more details and individual stories in the video, then check out my website to request a free copy before you pay to subscribe. And as always, I hope you'll sign up to receive these videos directly from me or subscribe on YouTube so you can continue to hear about these signals of change that could impact your small business. That's it for today. Happy Friday, and I'll see you next week.